And here I am having a wonderful interspecies communication. What an inspiration dogs are, and their willingness to communicate and connect. Thank you. Okay, and just calling in my guides and myself and calling in my heart and mind to align now. Hello, beautiful creatures. This is Eliza Kendall coming to you from northern New South Wales. I am in Bundjalung country in Australia. And it is the 26th of June in 2020. Thank you for pressing play on this video. These videos, if you've just started watching or if you're not clear, are designed and held with a very clear intention for me to pass on information, communication, illumination, wisdom from spirit, directly from spirit to you, as well as offering you the perspectives and understandings that I gain through the course of my week as I work with myself, work with the elements, as well as working with clients in either psychotherapy, spiritual development, or psychic spirit communication. So, happy solstice. Yeah, that was a really potent, epic time. I don't know how you fared for that. I'm curious. I know I had a lot of restructuring, a lot of reprogramming, particularly around power during that time. And my physical body was in all sorts of strange sort of feelings and symptoms throughout that week, especially leading up to the solstice. And as soon as the solstice sort of passed and the new moon rose, all the physical symptoms went away. My body just kind of reharmonized. So yeah, it's really big transitional times. I'm very grateful for the cosmic energies as well, supporting us throughout this eclipse season. It's just like the most powerful for the whole year, and probably for all of humanity. So it's like, yeah, whatevs, nothing. It's really a powerful time. So I want to say to you, if you're experiencing a lot of different feelings and you're triggered and you got stuff and you got challenges and you're uncertain and you're meeting up against these kind of polarized experiences or connections, it's all perfect. It's all happening because we are changing and transforming so much. And I know many of you watching this, sometimes some of the feelings and signs and symptoms that you feel inside of you are actually for the collective, and you are transmuting on the behalf of the collective. So I invite you to be really gentle with yourself, really kind, really nice. And also, it's not super necessary sometimes to spend a great deal of time processing your feelings. A little trick, if you like, that I use to sort of determine whether or not something is mine or the collective's or someone I've been near or some environment or an animal I've been near, for example. As a HSP, a highly sensitive person, or an empath, I pick up these things from the spaces around me. I'm extremely sensitive. I am in the 1% of the sensitives, which are the 5% of the planet. So, we're a pretty small group of people, but I know many of you watching the offerings that I do are also sensitives, because thank God like attracts like, and we can help each other through this. So, yeah, a really easy and quick thing that I do, which I actually developed after spending some time with the Dalai Lama and listening to him and watching the way that he moves energy in a room. I was able to sort of get outside of my body and watch him and see him moving around the energy of like 2,000 people in a room to just sort of keep it harmonized and balanced. And anyway, one of the things I sort of developed from that understanding is when I'm feeling something, let's say I'm suddenly kind of feeling a bit angry or annoyed, I pause for a moment, I breathe into my heart for a moment. That's all. I just take some presence and attention and drop my mind into my heart space and breathe in and out a few times. And as I'm breathing, what I notice is if the symptom or the feeling goes away as I'm breathing in my own heart space, then I know it's not mine, and I can just allow it to transmute on behalf of the collective and just exhale. If, however, it gets stronger, or more information comes around it, then it might be letting me know that it's something within my own field that I want to be working with. So it's just one little really basic trick. for you. So what I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, actually, as we all move through this transitional time, is that things are happening. What is being called for us to focus on is a bit different with those who are in a masculine condition and those who are in a feminine condition. What I notice that the feminine are being called to re-understand and redistribute and perhaps relearn the use of our energy and our power. How do we get power? Where do we get power from? How do we use power? Do we use power from a masculine place? And if we're doing that, how do we then wield that power? How do we wield it over others? Do we micromanage? Do we get controlling about it? Do we become like almost aggressive, overly assertive about it? Or are we on the other end of the spectrum? Do we overextend ourselves? Do we give so much of our energy and power away that we have none left for ourselves? Are we fractured in our energy body? What parts of our mind and therefore our energy are still being sent into the past, are still being sent into regret, into shame, into unresolved emotions from past experiences, or connections that didn't work out, unrequited love, or whatever it is. Perhaps your energy is being projected into the future in the form of expectations and attachments. Wherever it's going, what is really being called for with all the women in the feminine condition, even if you have already spent many, many years working with your own inner empowerment, it's time to refine that now even more, to become a master at using your own energy. So I've spoken about that a bit, and there'll be more to come. I just wanted to touch on it quickly because what I'm noticing for the masculine condition, and I think we spoke about this last week as well, the week before, is that the men are being asked and called to, yes, absolutely lead from the heart. But what I'm noticing is something a little bit more specific, which is still leading from the heart, is to begin making choices, yes. I also want to say perceiving, that's a funny word. Let's talk more about this. Understanding the world, perhaps using the barometer of the intuition. So the masculine, I'm noticing, are really, really being called to fine-tune their use of intuition. Something that as women we've been doing for a long time as well, particularly those that are on the enlightenment path. We've been working really hard and we have this understanding. But for the men, it's time to stop leading with the mind and lead with the heart, which means you are leading with the intuition. Now, I'm not talking about the feeling heart. That is an archetypal heart. I'm talking about the true heart, the higher heart, the unified heart is a place of full neutrality and full acceptance and unity and divinity. And that is a place where you access your intuition. Now, I'm also noticing something I find really interesting going on. I've really noticed how misinformed so many people are, particularly many people in the spiritual world, are about what intuition is. I saw a post the other day that intuition is a perception and it is also sometimes wrong and cannot be trusted. This is something that really stood out to me because what I have been considering and talking about with students and delving into and also teaching for many years now is the difference between instinct and intuition. They're very, very different things. Your intuition is not your gut feeling. That is your instinct. Your gut feeling will sometimes be coming from the fear that sits in the back of your amygdala. Sometimes your gut instinct is perceived through the lens cap of fear. Your intuition, however, is never perceived through the lens cap of fear. Your intuition is actually never wrong. It's always right. But the way that we understand it is sometimes really, really misinterpreted. Now, this is just a little beginning of this for you. I'm going to very soon be offering you a lot more information about intuition because I really recognize how there's a lot of misinformation and it causes a lot of confusion. And I also recognize it causes separation. I am noticing separation and attacks and judgment between light workers, between those of us that are on the mission to make the world a better place. There is no need for us to be bickering and fighting amongst one another. I'm noticing particularly with the Black Lives Matter came up, there's a lot of persecution going on between light workers. I'm not a fan of it at all. I noticed myself wanting to do it as well. I was reading some posts and going, oh wow, that's super white privilege. And can't you see that you're tying your spirituality into your white centeredness? And I was certainly accused of being a racist on Facebook as well. And I was just like, why the fuck are people why are we attacking each other in this way? Of course, I have inside of me unconscious white privilege. Of course I do. I grew up in a completely white privilege environment. I, however, feel like I've done really well at unraveling that. I've spent time on the land, I've spent time on country, I've spoken to many Indigenous people, and I have Indigenous friends in my local community. I want to be more available for sure. I am totally about equal for all humans on the planet. I'm talking all humans on the planet, most certainly. And yeah, I'm just noticing what's going to happen is that these issues are going to keep coming up, yeah? We're fucking cleansing the shit out of this thing. So yeah, Black lives fucking matter. Soon there's going to be another issue that come up for cleaning as well, another issue that comes up to be taken out of separation and interconnectedness and into unity, and then another issue that is evidenced by the separation within our world will also be dealt with. This is going to continue happening, yeah? We've been healing the masculine and feminine, now we're healing with people of colour and white people, we're healing through the races. This is going to continue happening. And what I would love to see throughout this is support and compassion for those of us who have good intentions, because we're doing the best that we can, and yes, we can do better, and we're all here to help one another do better. So I want to say again, we're all here to help one another do better, and to me that doesn't mean continued judgment and continued persecution, because our persecution wounds also run really, really deep regardless of what race you are. We all have these persecution wounds, masculine and feminine, for sharing our magic, sharing our medicine, and sharing our wisdom in the world. I don't want to be stopped from sharing my wisdom. It doesn't feel right to me, and it feels like old paradigm. So yeah, I am looking at ways I can also be more gracious, more accepting, more expansive. And instead of making judgments and assuming that I know something about someone from one post that they've put up, asking some questions, that's all, just asking questions. Let's communicate. Yeah, I love to communicate. All right. Okay. I'm going to put my crown on. I'm just going to check the recording. Okay, we're good. Let's see if they have anything to say before the light hits my eyes and gets a little too much for me in this beautiful, glorious sun. Okay, and I'm just going to put a call out now out loud, because I really am a huge advocate of the power of incantation. Your words have vibration, your words are creating your reality just as much as your thoughts are. It's so important what we say. The words that we use are so important. And so I'm asking now for any being with positive intentions and appropriate information for us to assist us with the expansion of human consciousness on earth right now in this moment. I'm willing to allow you to speak through me or share something with us now. Yes, thank you for asking us to speak with you today. We are speaking to you about the earth, about the planet itself. And yes, this also relates to every living being on the planet, most definitely. But we are inviting you to first turn your attention to the ground, so to speak, and notice the we want to say the harmonized way all the elements of the earth work together. The way that they each have a role and they each play a part, and none considers the other to be better or worse because of its difference. We are inviting you to really focus all of your attention and energy for periods of time as it works for you in a graceful, appropriate way amongst your schedule. We are inviting you to carve out time in your schedule to be with the earth, to sit with the elements, and to notice how the elements work together. Yes, to feel then, observe and then feel the way the elements are working together in your own body. You are made up of water, fire, air, space, and earth. How are they all working together in a harmonized way? Because as you notice how all of these 5 elements work together, you will learn how to work together among races, among different socioeconomic statuses, among all the things that separate you. You will simply learn that each has a role to play and that none is more favorable than the other. Each is just simply a different flavor, so to speak. And really what we want on the planet is a rainbow ice cream, not just one flavor ice cream. We don't just want vanilla ice cream or just chocolate ice cream. We want a rainbow of ice creams. And this is the way that the earth has been evolved, let's say, so that you may learn from one another. And yes, the time of coming together is in process right now. You are learning to unify more and more. And as you learn to unify, you will become very we want to say a bright light will be shone on that which separates you. And that is what is occurring now. Very bright, very harsh lights are being shone on that which is separating you, simply so that you can turn your attention to it and find ways to soften the light so that it is favorable for everybody. And there is so much to learn from one another, don't you think? So much to know from one another. Can you feel that? And if you are finding yourself surrounded by a particular flavor, then spread out. Branch out of your particular group of people that you spend your time with, or that you pay attention to, or that you learn from, or that you follow, or that you communicate with. Branch out and learn and speak and communicate with many different walks of life of humans. We are so grateful that you are doing this, and so grateful that you are taking the time and attention to do this now. All over the planet, globally, you are turning your attention onto ways that you can understand one another more. And we think this is just fantastic because we can see how it is creating waves of unity.
Wangajini kububuatinaga akashnuka malatibu boga muekine kuatia akana pretata hai tola pokanati hankalo chikana pamakani chikina pola waka chada chala kana chokara lekeke wakumata patiki kibuemalata snookalaka.
I can hear myself, I can always hear myself. Sometimes it's like I'm in Men in Black. And I love that. All of those all of those movies, it's no coincidence that inspiration came down, you know, that's like they're drip feeding us the concept and the idea that there are many different life forms all over the cosmos and that we can at some point communicate with them and they won't have to disguise themselves and put on human suits to do so. What an extraordinary existence this is, an extraordinary planet. I'm so fucking grateful to be here, even though sometimes I'm shocked that I chose to. But I think really where the shock is not that I chose to come and contribute, but that I chose to agree to forget my connection to Source and forget who I was and what I knew. But it's a pretty fucking awesome ride, uncovering that. It's exciting. So I can feel the warmth on my heart, so I'm going to send you that warmth from my heart to yours, straight through. Yeah, and hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for being you. Thank you for watching this. I love you so much. So much more to come as well. I have so much to share with you. I'm being asked to share so much as well. So I'm really looking forward to lots of wonderful wisdom and information being shared. I'm really keen to ease the progression and the journey of your evolution wherever and however I can. So yeah, if there's any way that I can do that specifically and you want to reach out to me, please feel free. You can message me anytime. Lots of love.